Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Mr. Greeny, and we are here in a town called Intercourse, Pennsylvania. Good name, huh? More importantly, we are at Barry's Car Barn. It's funny, I actually heard about this place when I was at the Summerdale car event, and someone was telling me you absolutely have to come here. So I decided to come here. I'm on my way to Pittsburgh anyway, and I figured I might as well stop here. But you can see in the background, they have quite an amazing array of classic cars here, and just walking in here, I'm really impressed. But I'm gonna get right to the video. We're gonna go in and get some footage of some cars. Let's get to it. So first on the docket, we have this beautiful, stunning 1954 Corvette that retailed for $2,774. And as you see, my fellow YouTubers, I was not making that up. That's the retail price. And let's look at this interior. Oh, wow. God, isn't that beautiful? Look at that. So what I do want to mention, and what the gentleman at the Summerdale event told me, was that they actually have a whole line of Corvettes here from 1954 all the way up to, I think, 1966. So here is the row of Corvettes that we're going to go and check out. Here is a 1955 Corvette, absolutely stunning in white. Look at that interior here. Oh, those interiors are absolutely beautiful, boy. All right, so I'm going to bounce around here. It looks like there's some people by the Corvettes, and I'm just going to focus on this section here, which are the Bel Airs. So let's look at this 1955 Bel Air here first. And look at that exquisite interior. Now, again, I've seen so many Bel Airs, but you could just never get sick of them just from their interiors. Look how beautiful and stunning that interior is. So looks like we have three Bel Airs over here. So I believe this first one's a 55. We're just going to kind of walk around. This, I believe, is the 56. I'm going to have to go back in and read the print there. And then we have a 57 Bel Air. Let's take a look at her. So yeah, notice the side paneling that distinguishes the 57 from the other Bel Airs. So basically, those models came in a 150, a 210, and a Bel Air. And as I'm talking here, I'm going to try to see if I can zoom in on the interior of that 1956 Bel Air. And again, very, very exquisite, beautiful interior. So that is a 1956 Bel Air. Let me see if I can get in a little closer. So I think that's pretty good. And you see that beautiful, like, kind of oval, kind of almost semicircle where you have Bel Air written on there. So very beautiful and very exquisite. So that red vehicle there is the 57 Bel Air. I'm going to see if I can zoom in on the interior of that. Might be a little tough to do, but let's see what I can do here. So that is the interior of the 57. And you can see they did away with that kind of oval design in the passenger seat. So instead, you still have the Bel Air writing on just across the dash, and you have kind of one, like, looks like a piece of stainless steel that runs all the way across the dash on the 57. Still very beautiful and very exquisite. And this is a picture of the interior of the 1958 Chevy Impala. That's the engine. And look at that beautiful dash. And I'm showing you the pictures because it's a little bit hard. You're not going to be able to get, to the interior because of how close the cars are parked. That's just how the museum is set up. But anyway, this is what I'm talking about. Look at that beautiful, stunning 1958 Chevy Impala. That is gorgeous. And I don't think of an Impala as looking like this. When I think of an Impala, I think of cars from like the 70s, 80s, around, what's the 80s? In any case, I think what I'm talking about, more in the kind of soon-to-be Impalas. This is the first time I've seen like a 50s Impala, and it looks very similar to the Bel Air, but it's just beautiful and stunning. Love her in blue as well. So what I want to draw your attention to as I'm kind of walking, so these are the Bel Air cars, and you can see their design, the very 50s style design. I'm going to kind of go like this here. There's that Impala, but look what we have next. So we go from your kind of mid to late 50s design to a late 60s design, a 1969 Camaro. Look at this. And look at how different it looks. It almost looks a lot sportier. Where I would argue that the cars from the 50s looked more elegant and luxurious and prestigious. This is completely different. This looks like something that's straight sporty. The 69 Camaro. So that's the back of the 69 Camaro. I'm gonna zoom in, see if I can get the interior. It's a little hard to see, but obviously the big thing is, you know, the thing now you have the plastic. So I believe that was when you had the injection molding. That became really big, and then due to safety reasons, that got implemented and put into the dash of the cars of the late 60s and early 70s. But again, the dash, even the dashes, I think look a lot sportier than the more luxurious and elegant interiors of cars in the 50s, like the Bel Airs. So this particular Camaro is a Z11, and then the black one right next to it is a Z28. Yeah, look at how different that body style is. It almost kind of gives you Mustang vibes. I hate to compare that, but I know the Camaro was a competitor of the Mustang, and it almost has a very similar body style. But this is the Z28, and boy, look at how aggressive that front grille looks, and look at those lights too, boy. So now we're bouncing back to Corvettes. So I already got this beautiful 54, and I'm going to kind of pan here. There's the 55, and then right after that, look at that beautiful blue 56. Wow, how stunning that is. Look at the beautiful body of this Corvette. See if I can get the background design too. There's the badge right on the front. Let's get that interior. Oh, look at the design of the seats. And yeah, Corvettes have just beautiful interiors, and this is what I've talked about in my previous videos. You see, you have this kind of oval design. I kind of wonder if that was influenced by the Bel Airs, or, you know, that was part of this design. I mean, Chevy, so, but yeah, just a beautiful interior. And here you have a beautiful 1957. You know, I just love the side paneling design. I just love how you have that. You know, you have that white there. It just makes such a huge difference in the body of the car. Look at that racing flag emblem. And it's kind of, you know, reminiscent of Chevrolet. Louis Chevrolet was obsessed with racing. Let's get this interior first before we talk history. But again, you see the same similar beautiful seating, and then, yeah, I just love the dash. I mean, Chevy did a wonderful job of just kind of making the interior look actually luxurious and eloquent, but also sporty too. And here you have another 57 Vet in black. Let's take a look at her. See if I can get this whole car. But yeah, Corvettes are interesting because even if they're like in a like a primary color or like a fluorescent blue like the last one we saw, they're beautiful, and also in a black. No matter what color, these cars just look beautiful. And again, I think that side paneling has a very huge, makes a very huge difference in the car. Oh, and this one is a fuel injection, so very interesting. And you have that beautiful interior. Look at it, beautiful. Hey everyone, hope everyone's having a good time. But yeah, this is what that gentleman in Somerdale was telling me. You have a whole row of Corvettes here, going, you know, from 1954, you know, kind of back over. Right back over here, you have a 54, 55, and 56, and you got a 57 in the corner over there, and then you have this whole row, like from 57 roughly to 66, a whole row of Corvettes. That's so cool. It's almost just like you're kind of going through time here. You just kind of, it's like almost like a timeline of Corvettes. So this is so amazing. I'm so glad I stopped here. But let's get the rest of these Corvettes now. So it's going to be a little difficult to get up close and personal with these cars, so I'm just going to kind of walk and talk. So here's the another 57 in yellow, beautiful, stunning, and you have a 58 in silver, and then the 59. And actually, I think there's room over here, so I can kind of pan in. Wow, stunning. One thing I noticed is that the badge on the later models are, you know, bigger than the ones on the 54 and 55, I believe. But let's take a look at the close look at this one. This, oh wow, what a beautiful vet. Look at that color. I wonder what color that is. That's gorgeous. But what's more importantly, let's look at the interior. Oh, that seating is so exquisite. I just love how you have that panel right in the middle, that steel paneling separating the two seats. And wow, what a different interior. Look at how different this is. Look at this. So they did away with that, just that, you know, kind of oval bed into the dash. It looks like you have a little bit more like, is that plastic or leather? I can't tell. And look at that, how you have the almost like oval kind of now embedded into the dash. That is so cool. And look at, oh my goodness. Wow, lovely design. So you'll see on the 61, they did away with that circular badge and went with the flags. Oh gosh, look at that front. Man, those lights. So this is the 61. And wow, what a stunner. One other difference on the later models, you have like these three steel, like knife looking, I guess, paneling on the sides that the earlier models didn't have. Now let's look at the interior. Oh, interesting. Yeah, look at that gauge cluster. It just looks so, you know, it looks so elegant. You almost have you have a whole bunch of gauges, and then you kind of have that oval for your speedometer. Very interesting design. Very, very sporty. All right, so for these next cars, they're all parked together. So we're just going to go and do a pan of each of these cars. So I believe that's also a 61 too. Here's a 62. And that's a 63, and you can see how the models are changing. Don't remember that exhaust on the earlier ones. I'll have to go back and check, but in any case, you can see how the body styles are changing. The 64 looks a little bit more boxy, and look at the fronts. For example, look at the front of this one here. And then we have the 65 over here. I love that color. It's almost like a greenish blue. And then we finish off with the 66. Let's see if I have enough room here to get kind of sort of. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, so you have the exhaust running along the sides of the models of the later 60s, it seems like. And then they did away with the kind of the paneling, kind of how the chassis kind of goes right in between the seats, that stainless steel piece. And let's take a look at the interior. So yes, oh wow, very different. So they went back to the oval, and it doesn't look quite as intricate as the previous models. And I kind of wonder if this is part of the injection molding that they implemented for safety reasons, and maybe even to make it lighter. But you can see how the interior changed. So again, my apologies for bouncing around. You know, there are other patrons in the museum, so I'm just trying to, you know, find the areas where no one's around so I can get the footage and kind of babble and talk about the cars. So this last Camaro here is an SS. So basically in 68 you had like two trims. You kind of had the Super Sport and you had the Rally Sport. And just look at the paint on here. Kind of, you know, this kind of reminds me of the 74 Mustang that my parents bought when I was born to celebrate my birth. So that's a whole other story. So check out this 1971 Torino Cobra. Oh, look how mean this looks. And this color is called Grabber Green. And with the black, you know, with the black hood, it just looks so menacing. So it might be hard to get the side of this car, but I'm gonna try anyway. And look at how different it looks. It almost looks like a Nova, like a later Nova, but look at the body style and look how different it is from the Camaro. And here we have a 1966 Plymouth Satellite. Mid-size car, beautiful and stunning. So let's see if I can get the side of the car. And I believe I saw a Satellite. It's funny because I think I saw a Plymouth Satellite at the Somerville event, the Coopertown cruising event that I just came from. And right next to that, you have a 1973 Dodge Charger, and look at that beautiful maroon color. And you know what's funny is look how different the body style is compared to that 66. So obviously this is much more of a sports car, but look at her. And you can see how the interior changes drastically, you know, from the 50s and early 60s, and you have a more like, you know, kind of plastic and basically a product of the injection molding, you know, likely for the safety considerations. But you know, again, this is a, you know, very, very sporty car, so you have more of the sport element than the elegance element. Hey everyone, hope you're having fun, man. But this place is so amazing. Anyway, yeah, sorry to bounce around like this. I'm back to the Corvettes. So we finished this row of Corvettes, and then I kind of went over to the Plymouths and back to the Camaros. But I kind of want to talk a little bit about the Corvettes, and just kind of want to talk about some of the design changes. So let's get to it. So kind of as I'm walking back, one thing that I did notice, aside from the exhaust, is look at the lights. In this one, it looks like the lights come up. The lights are, you know, kind of retractable, I guess you could say, in the later models. But then when you go back to the earlier models, this one, I think back to the 61, I think, 62, you look how you have the lights are just, you know, they're not retractable. So that's one important design element that I just want to point out. And it even looks like the later models are sportier, whereas the earlier ones are sporty, but they seem to have a little bit more elegance to them. All right, so I know I've gotten this a bunch of times, but I can't help myself. So I'm just kind of recapping what we just covered. So we just covered these Corvettes here in this row, and then now we're going to go and cover this row right over here. So the first car is a 1970 Chevelle. And again, look at the really big and imposing body style. Look at this. Interesting fact, there were only 4,475 Chevelles with the LS6 454 engine made. So let's look at the interior now. Yeah, it looks very like kind of late 60s, early 70s. Again, you kind of have that, you know, now you have more of the kind of the injection, I'm guessing the injection molded dash there. You know, looks very, very sporty with the oval, you know, with the oval gauges there. And look at that prominent stick there, the floor mounted shifter there, very sporty. So right after the 70s Chevelle, we have, I believe it's 1963 Impala, and look at that color. That color is absolutely stunning. So this beautiful 1963 Impala here, this is known as a weapon in the sales for Chevrolet, and you know, kept them very, very competitive. So let's take a look at the interior, and look how big it is, and look, oh my goodness. It just seems to me that cars earlier on in the early 60s, the interiors were so much more exquisite and just looks so much bigger. And just look at the attention to detail. Look at that on the door paneling. So it just looks like there's just more details. Oh my goodness! Look at the size of that steering wheel. Just look at the dash here. Look at how you have the, you know, you have the kind of rectangular speedometer there, as opposed to, you know, like more of an oval shape. So it kind of gives you Bel Air vibes a little bit when you have the stainless steel paneling just on the bottom there. It just looks like there's more intricacy and detail in this 63 Impala than there was in that 70 Chevelle. Yeah, I'm just gonna go and pan in here so we can all admire the sexy body on the 63 Impala. This is absolutely beautiful, and look at the paneling, just gorgeous. And here we have a 1967 Pontiac GTO, and I kind of have to maneuver as there are other patrons here probably looking at me like, why am I talking to myself if they're not, you know, up to date on the YouTube thing. But anyway, look at this beautiful, stunning ride, and look how big it is too. The thing with this you know, GTO here is just look how elongated the back is. And now let's take a look at the interior. So it looks like this was kind of right around the time where the interiors were changing and they were maybe becoming less, you know, elegant, more sporty. This is interesting because now you have the wood paneling here, so this is very, very different from, you know, Chevy, obviously. And even on the whole console here, you have like wood paneling. It looks very, very nice. I just love how pristine this looks. And it kind of goes well with the black. You have the black seating, and then you have the, you know, the wooden, kind of the wood elements there. Let's pan back out. So it's a really, really nice looking interior. So this whole place is so exquisite. I just got to do like a bird's eye pan here. But anyway, we just got through that Impala and that GTO, and look what is next, my friends. A Jaguar. Look at this. Look at this Jaguar here. So just when you thought it was dominated by American muscle, here you got a little bit of Euro elegance here. Look at that. Let's see if I can get the front of that. So this here is a 1968 Jaguar XKE type. And look at how different the body is. So this is not big and imposing, but it looks elegant. Look at how the back kind of angles down. And let me kind of pan over again. And you have the elongated front, but it's just very, very different. You know, the front almost looks like an Alfa Romeo, kind of, sort of. Now let's do the interior. Oh, look at that. So, you know, when I think of the wooden paneling, I do think of British-made cars. But look at that. Very, very sporty. So different, too. Because notice a Corvette, you had the whole gauge cluster right on the driver's side. Here you have a lot of the gauges kind of in between the driver and passenger side. So just a very different design here. And look at the switches you have there. So just a very, very different design. Yeah, completely different from its American counterparts, but just very sporty in a British kind of way. And right next to this Jaguar, you have a Harley Davidson section. So this first one here is a 1919 Harley Davidson sidecar. So what a unique bit of history you got going here. And these are just some older Harley Davidson bikes here. Oh, wow. Beautiful. So here are those Harley Davidsons. And it's funny, as you know, because while I was oodling and oddling over all these cars over here, that Jaguar, those Corvettes, I didn't even notice you have a whole section of bikes here. So let's go and walk through these right now. So you have a 1947 Indian Chief, 1946 Harley Davidson, 1953 Indian Chief, and you got some Harley Davidson bikes right over here. These are known as Harley Davidson singles, 1913 Harley Davidson singles. And you kind of have like what I believe is the motor mounted just below the handles there. And then now you have a 1914 Indian Big Twin. See if I can get that Route 66 there. Wow. And you have some more Harley Davidsons over here. Well, actually, this one here is a Harley Davidson. I believe that's a military bike. And what are these? Yeah, these are all Harley Davidsons. But look at that. And you have some 1948 Whizzers. Look at these. Wow, so pristine here. Oh, look at this. So I believe it's a 1910 Harley Davidson and 1911 Excelsior Twin are among the bikes in this row here, but oh, I cannot believe this place. I really can't. And this here is a 1909 Harley Davidson 5A. God, that color is so stunning. So continuing along, this is a 1969 Triumph of Bonneville T120, followed by 1950 Harley Davidson Panhead. And we finish off, well, not finished off yet, 1965 BSA Lightning, which finishes off this row over here. And then last but not least, on the bikes, we have 1938 Rudge 250 Sport, followed by a 1961 Harley Servia car. Let's see if I can get a better angle of it. Okay. In that very last clip, I'm not sure if I was able to capture it or not, we have, I cannot believe they have us here, a 1972 Di Tommaso Pantera. And this was the very car that I wanted to get when I was younger. So that is a very interesting looking badge. Now let's look at the interior. God, this car is so sporty. You know, I have to say it. You could probably tell that I'm kind of biased, toward the elegance of the 50s dashes. But I'm just so nostalgic about this car. I mean, the dash is so sporty looking. It's so mean looking. Yeah, I love this car. What can I say? Hey everyone, so a bit of nostalgia we have here. This Di Tommaso Pantera. I remember when I was younger, there was one for sale. I think it might have been in 1970. And I remember I went ahead, I took the initiative to call the owner up and say that we were interested. And then my dad had to kind of, you know, when they called back, my dad was all shocked and he was like, no, we're not. You know, my son just took the call without my knowledge. So that was a little bit of my childhood history there, my attempt to, I guess, try to get a Di Tommaso Pantera. But I think what I really fell in love with was it's just so sporty looking, and it actually looks even sportier than, you know, all the other sports cars of its time. In any case, I wanted one really badly, so what can I say? All right, let's go through this row now. So now we have, look at this Thunderbird. What an exquisite looking Thunderbird we have here. Look at that. A 57 Ford Thunderbird we have, followed by a really mean looking Shelby Mustang. Look at this. Look at that. So this one's actually 2009, so pretty interesting to see something so much more modern compared to everything else that's so historical. So that's the 2009 Shelby Mustang we got there. And right next to the Shelby, we have the a 1970 Shelby Fastback. Boy, look at how aggressive, look how beautiful that front looks just with those round lights there. Look at that. I just love the design of the hood. Just looks so aggressive and so stylish. Oh, what a beautiful car that is. So we went from the 2009 to the 1970 to a 1968. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful in red. One thing I want to highlight is look at the difference between the 70 and the 68, particularly the hood. You know, the hoods on the 68s don't look quite as aggressive. Still beautiful, but very, very different. Oh, I just love the front of this. Ooh. And you have the, oh, those lights are amazing. So one's the convertible, the other is the coupe. And you have another one here. Again, another 68 here in blue. Then from the 68, we go to the 67. And look at, there's a big difference. Look, you have the scoops that are kind of recessed back on the hood. So you look at how you have, oh, I love that front there. So big difference. So you have the circular lights, the inner lights are circular, and you have the kind of the scoops are just kind of recessed back, whereas on the 70, they're right up in your face. And then you have the square lights on the 70s model. And this is such a beautiful, like, kind of greenish color with the white stripes on there. Beautiful. And then you have another 67. The GT500. Look how close the two lights are on the inside. So very, very different. So this is the GT500. The one we just looked at was the GT350. Wow, look at this stunning Cobra. So this is from the Contemporary Classic Motor Company. I think this is a replica. But in any case, look how beefy it looks. What a stunning car this is. It's fair to say that Shelby was just a mechanical genius. And he was so up on performance. And it's almost like he said it himself. It's like he even said that any time we have an innovation, you're going to have a performance record. So, oh, look at this interior. Wow, look at that. It's just so basic and just right to the point. Look at that. Hey everyone, so we just got this done, this whole entire row. I want to talk a little bit about this Shelby here. I don't want to say this. I might get some kickback for the comparison that I'm about to make. I don't know why this reminds me of the Jaguar a little bit, because it's not as big and imposing as, you know, some of the other, you know, sports cars of the 70s, late 60s, early 70s. It's smaller. It's even shaped kind of a little bit like the Jaguar. I don't know why I think that, but it's just a lot beefier looking. The Jaguar, the chassis, the Jaguar to me was more elegant. This is just beefier and more aggressive. This thing looks like it could just kick your butt or something. Let's kind of go around to see if I can look at the front here. I don't know why this one has a little bit like Euro vibes, even though it's the furthest thing from something Euro. It just looks like some American beast, but you know, just a beautiful car nonetheless. And speaking of Euro cars, we go right back to a European example in this beautiful 1967 Austin Healey 3000 Mark III. Look at her. Ooh. You know, and as I was kind of pausing in silence, I was debating as to whether I should say that, yeah, this, for some reason, this does remind me of the Shelby in terms of its general shape. But of course, the Shelby is much more, the body is much more aggressive and has a lot more scoops in it. So here's the interior of this Austin Healey. And oh, wow, look how elegant that is. Look at the wood. I mean, it looks like there's much higher quality wood in this one than the other examples, other car examples we've seen. Look at the wood over there. Yeah, this interior is absolutely beautiful. It's just kind of like where elegance meets sport perfectly. So from an orientation standpoint, we just finished this row over here with the Di Tommaso Pantera, the Thunderbird, and that whole row of Mustangs and that Shelby way at the end over there. And then this row, you know, we're going to start up here, start up on this end, because just the way the cars are aligned and the way the descriptions are aligned will be easier to do. So let's go ahead and proceed. So we just got this Austin Healey. Oh, look at this. Wow. 1931 Ford Model A Woody. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is so stunning. I got to make a short of this one. It's going to get so many hits. Look at this. So this is the Ford Model A, which the predecessor, of course, was the Model T. And they believe this car was made after much, you know, haggling with Ford to say, stop being so stubborn, you got to make a new car. Here's the interior. Oh, wow. Oh, God, that's so, oh, that is so vintage. Look at that. Man, it's so basic. Hey, what's up, my fellow YouTube? So maybe basic wasn't the right word to use to describe the interior. I mean, it is basic, but anyway, I digress. You know what's funny is I was just listening to the history of Dodge, and I didn't realize that the Dodge brothers really were paramount. Ford actually hired the Dodge brothers, and Dodge was very heavily involved with, you know, I believe making the Model A. I can't remember if it's the Model T or Model A, but in any case, Dodge was very, very heavily involved in Ford's success. They were the ones actually building the cars. So it's just interesting to know that the Dodge brothers had their hands, you know, were down and dirty, like knee deep in the production of, you know, Ford, you know, vehicles. But anyway, this is just absolutely beautiful and stunning Woody here. So right next to this 31 Ford Model A, we have a 1947 Mercury Woody station wagon, and just look at how beautiful, gorgeous, and stunning this is. Look at the wood paneling with the yellow. It looks absolutely gorgeous, and then the yellow trim on the wheels. Yeah, I am just a sucker for the Woodies. Just gorgeous. I just love these style of wheels too. Just perfectly bring out, not only bring out the car, but just really bring out the history. Because this is clearly not a resto mod at all. Mercury badge on there. Let me just get this now. So let's look at the interior. Look at how much room there is. Kind of reminds me of like a big SUV or something. Look at how much room there is in this Woody. So it looks like it definitely was meant for some family. Oh my lord. Oh wow. Yeah, I'm just a sucker, you know, for these older, like 1950s, pre-1950 interiors. I mean, you don't see too many Mercurys too. Everything's dominated by Chevy and Ford, and look at the Mercury badge on there. So it's just, you know, for me, just seeing something different really, you know, catches my eye. And then right next to this beautiful, gorgeous 1948 Mercury Woody, we have a 1948 Mercury 8 convertible. Oh, look at that maroon. And look at how you have the back wheels just kind of partially covered by the wheel hub. Just gives it a sense of elegance and of prestige. And look at the front. The front is just so extravagant. I just love these old school tires. The Mercury badge. Let's go in our normal pan. You got some of the leather interior in here. And wow, just a very interesting dash. I think Mercury does a good job of distinguishing themselves from Chevy and Ford with such a unique dash setup here. And then right after this 1948 Mercury, we have a 1969 Mercury Cougar. Look how different it is. My goodness, you go right from elegance to straight sport and aggressiveness. Look at this. In the bright orange too. Yeah, this definitely was the car back in the day. This is the car you take to the drive-in or something, or the drive-thru, and you just show off to everyone and brag. Look at that. Oh, that front grille is so mean. It's so interesting how you have Cougar written on the side, the one side of the car, not even in the middle or anything like that, like most manufacturers. You have it written on the side, then you have a Cougar badge on the other side, kind of on the grille. That's kind of interesting. So I haven't seen that in any car, I don't think. You have the aggressive engine scoops. And then let's look at the interior here. Wow, very different. So now you're back to the injection molded dash there. Oh, look at that. It says Cougar on there. So that's so cool. Look at that. Again, Mercury just distinguishing themselves from the other manufacturers. Let's take a closer look at the door paneling there. Let me go back. You have the Mercury badge on there. So again, just the manufacturer doing a very, very nice job distinguishing themselves from some of the bigger manufacturers. Hey, how's everyone doing? So wow, what an amazing place. And we're not quite done yet, so we got one more row here. It looks like we got some very, very elegant looking vintage cars to cover, so let's get to it. So this, my friends, is a 1930 Packard 7th Series dual windshield custom deluxe 8 Phaeton. This is the first 8-cylinder engine, and it replaced a 12-cylinder engine that had become too expensive to build. But look, oh my goodness, look at this. I'm just a sucker, for like the pre-World War II cars. Look at that. Wow, what a ride. So this car seats 5 to 7 people. As I'm talking about the seating, I just kind of still want to, odle over this beautiful body on this car. Oh, look at that spare tire there. Then now let's get the interior. Oh my goodness, I didn't even notice this. Look at this. Look at the back here. I've never seen something like this here. So you almost have like a shield, like sort of a see-through shield in the back here. So this car is just definitely meant for like prestige and like just royalty, I guess. I can't think of any other word. I've never seen this before. I don't think I've ever seen any car that had this kind of had this sort of like internal windshield, for however you want to call it. Oh wow. Oh boy, look at that interior. Look at the dash. That dash is so beautiful. And just look how vintage the gauges are on this. This is absolutely stunning. And right next to the 1930 Packard, we have a 1931. Ooh, look at this. 1931 Packard. Let's walk around her. So again, look how elongated it is. So yeah, this is definitely meant to be luxurious and definitely for upper crust, as I imagine. You have the back there for your luggage or what have you, and they have their inscription, their badge, right on the hub of the wheels. Now let's go take a look at this interior. Look how plush the seating is. Look at the room. Oh my goodness, you have like a little kind of side seat over there. Oh, unbelievable. Yeah, so the inside of this Packard is just unreal. And you have a similar dash setup. Look at that. I love how it's recessed, kind of recessed outward a little bit away from the driver and passenger. And then you have look at this. Look at the upholstery. So it just looks very, very plush and luxurious. So we just covered these two Packards, and then from there we go right to this early 1930s sprint car. Look at this one. Very, very interesting. Look at that. So right after these two Packards and the sprint car, we have a 1933 Ford 3-window coupe. And we saw a lot of these at Run to the Sun. This was one of the primary cars that we saw at the Run to the Sun event. A lot of the 3-window coupes. I think we saw these at the Mid-Atlantic Indoor Nationals too. And look at the back there, slightly elongated and curved. So this particular 3-window coupe, it's a hot rod. It's got original body on it. It's got 400 horsepower. Has leather interior, power windows, air conditioning, heat and power antenna. It has a XRE Jaguar rear with a Mustang 2 front suspension, along with a rack and pinion steering. And I admit, guys, I'm kind of reading that right off the description there. But yeah, very interesting resto mod here. Look at that. Very, very nicely done. And so following the Packard sprint car and the window coupe, we finished off this whole tour with a 1932 5-window coupe. Oh wow, look at this. Oh, this looks pretty mean. In a bright yellow. Definitely going to get some attention with that. So let's pan around her, take a look. So this 1932 5-window coupe actually has nitrous in it that gives it 150 to 200 horsepower extra. So that's really interesting. Look at the seating in here. And look at that. Very, very sporty and definitely meant to go fast. Hey everyone, I hope you all enjoyed the details of the cars, or what I was able to get. So before we conclude, I just kind of want to walk around this area and do a general pan. This whole place is amazing. I mean, the decor is unbelievable. It's just filled with elements of history. It's so beautiful. So before we go, I'm just gonna walk around, just do a general pan of the whole area, so we can just appreciate this beautiful and fine museum. Let's go. So that's the entrance, and we're just gonna slowly pan. And I know I've gotten this a bunch of times. This is kind of the Corvette section, but now I kind of want to focus more on some of the decor. I'll get that later, so I'm going to focus on the Golf here. Some of your gas station signs here. Look at that, Mobil Gas, well before it became Exxon Mobil. So look at that up there, look at this. So they really made the most of all the room that they had in this, but let's kind of keep walking here. I'm gonna focus on the right side. Now we can kind of see, yeah, Texaco up there. You can kind of more appreciate that wall over there. Again, nice to see the Mobil sign before it turned into Exxon. And I guess I say that because my dad actually had worked for Mobil. Oh, look at that. Head back out here. What's up, Dino? Just continue over here. And I'm going to get that back wall again. So, a lot of Texaco signs here. So let's go. Stop over here. I'm just going to go and do a general pan. Yeah, this is incredible. So that's more what the back wall looks like. I'm just going to kind of do a pan here. So this might be for my thumbnail. We'll see. There's so many amazing opportunities for that. I'll see if I can get top part there. This is a little hard to see, but check out these model size trains here. That is so cool. Oh, and you got those Harleys, you got those bikes up there. This place is amazing. You guys have to come here. If you like cars or anything kind of transportation related, you have to come here. Look at this. And my phone is just not My camera phone is just not doing it justice here. So this is one final pan I'm doing, and this could be my attempt to get a thumbnail. All right, everyone. So that concludes the tour of the inside of this beautiful museum. And yeah, I gotta say, if you just not only love classic cars but love history, then you absolutely have to come out here. Yeah, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of far away, but this place is absolutely amazing. I mean, look at these Packards in the background here. I mean, there's just so many. It's just the way everything is laid out, and then the decor as you saw earlier. So I highly recommend you absolutely have to come out here. It's called Barry's Car Barn. I'll talk more about when I do my outro outside. Let's keep moving. So just one last pan. I just want to see which is going to be the best thumbnail, and you guys can just further appreciate this amazing museum. So yeah, this place is amazing. So I just want to be able to just get some footage of this too. Look at this. I just love some of the smaller, historical models here. But this place is so cool. Again, you guys have to come out here if you not only love classic cars but love history. So I'll stop it right there. So this is what the outside looks like. Barry's Car Barn. I love how they have the Gulf emblemage, and you have the, let's see if we can zoom in on that. Oh, Acme, look at that. Very interesting. So just a very cool history in general. It's just so interesting to see some of these older, some of the companies we see today. You see like some of their history. It just makes you want to learn a lot more. But just such a cool place. All right, everyone. I hope you all had a good time. Hope you enjoyed the tour and the footage of Barry's Car Barn. This place is absolutely amazing. You gotta come here if you guys love, as I mentioned before, if you guys not only love classic cars but just love history in general, and I guess history in regards to transportation in general, you guys have to come out here. This place is absolutely amazing. Yeah, it's kind of up in the boondocks, but this is actually a really cool little town. It's called Intercourse, Pennsylvania. Again, like I said, awesome name. But it's a cool little town. I think I'm going to eat something here too, even if I end up getting to Washington, D.C. a little late. So I'm spending the weekend in Western Pennsylvania. Going to do some car shows out there also, so there'll be some more footage. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up now. If you like the content, go ahead, hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Bistragini. I provide all kinds of car content, from exotics to customs to classic cars, and just came from an amazing museum. Barry's Car Farm was the name of it, and right now I just got done eating at Amish place, and I had an absolutely delicious burger. It was called the Farmer Brown Burger, and it was absolutely delicious. It was a burger with a sunny side up egg on it, and had some lettuce and tomato on it, and it just hit the spot. Just simple, right to the point. And I had that with some very crispy fries, and again, absolutely delicious meal. And the inside of this place is really amazing. So I believe they are connected with Stoltzberg. I'll have to go and check the name of the place, so I'm sorry if I'm muffing that up. But in any case, there was a meats place that's, I guess, located right next to it, or is part of the same building. But in any case, the inside is amazing. So, they have a lot of different meats, and they have also some desserts and some cakes too. So I got some what was it? A zucchini. It was a zucchini and pumpkin bread, and they both look really, really good. So they're actually both for some friends of mine out in Pittsburgh that I'm going to visit. But anyway, if you guys are out in the Lancaster area, particularly in a town called Intercourse, definitely come to Amish place, because they have some really great burgers and great service. So, all right, Bistragini signing off. Hey everybody, Bistragini here. So the name of the place is Stoltzfuss. I think I'm pronouncing that right. So I did muff it up pretty badly, but in any case, yeah, they're located right next to Amish place, which is kind of behind that little tenant seating area over there. And we got a bit of rain here, but no big deal. Anyway, I bought I guess 2 packs of nut bread. So I bought some pumpkin bread and also some zucchini bread, and they both look really, really great. I hope they'll get to try them. They're actually some gifts from friends out in Pittsburgh, so hopefully maybe we can share them, and I'll get to try that in spite of my pre-diabetic state. But in any case, yeah, if any of you are in the Lancaster area, particularly in the Intercourse, PA, if you're going to go and visit that awesome car museum that I mentioned, Barry's Car Barn, which I highly recommend, I would definitely recommend going to Stoltzfuss for some either some meats if you're staying in the area, or maybe even some nut bread, some banana nut bread, zucchini nut bread, pumpkin nut bread. And as I mentioned, you definitely want to check out Amish place too, because they got some great burgers there. All right, thanks very much. Mr. Green signing off. Hey, what's up, my fellow YouTubers? So I am at Corner Coffee Shop in Intercourse, Pennsylvania. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Bistragini. I provide car content. I cover exotics, classics, custom cars. I actually just came from Barry's Car Barn, which is an amazing classic car museum. So anyway, I just got this pistachio latte with dark chocolate. Let's give it a try. Absolutely delicious, hits the spot. So I just came from Ammo's place. I had a pretty big meal, and I want to have my coffee. I want to have my caffeine, so I can get ready for the road. Ooh, let's see, is that a yeah, got the little buggy going there, horse and carriage there. So also there's a place called I think Treasure Palace, is that what it's called? Let me double check over there. The Treasure Place. There's a place called the Treasure Place, and I actually bought a shirt that says Intercourse University. So I'm sure it's going to get a lot of remarks from various bystanders that see the shirt. But anyway, yeah, this place is called Corner Coffee Shop. It's really good. The staff is great. They were very nice. They accommodated my request to make it 50% sweet, so not too heavy on the sweetness for the version just latte. So again, if you guys are in the Intercourse area, I highly recommend obviously Barry's Car Barn as an amazing classic car place. You know, check out Ammo's place for some good food, and last but not least, check out Corner Coffee Shop where they have excellent lattes. Mr. Gini signing off.